Hello.
Hi, how are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you too. Thank you very much. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Long...
pretty good. Thank you.
Okay, everything all right?
Yes, yes, very good. Thank you. Long time no see.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say. Okay,
Yeah.
so, all right. So I set Zoom so that it can record
Mm-hmm.
every session automatically. This
Mm-hmm.
way, if I forget, we won't lose the session.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
like last session. Of course, I actually recorded last session's class,
Mm-hmm.
I mean newspaper class,
Mm-hmm.
but the video
Yeah.
expired. I don't know why. I didn't forget that
Oh,
one, but the video expired, and that's why we don't have it on the website.
yes. I at look at
The
uh,
menu, the menu.
YouTube, and
Uh-huh.
your website, and there wasn't there.
Yes, it wasn't there. Yes, or there wasn't a video. Yes, unfortunately, sometimes it happens. I don't know why. It
Yeah,
expires.
yeah. Okay,
Okay,
okay.
so this way right now, I'm recording this session on my own
Mhm.
computer, and also Zoom is recording. So if one
Okay.
is lost, we can have
Uh-huh.
the other one.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes, thank you.
so you have nothing to review, and this is a new
Yes,
session. Can you see the screen?
yes, I'm only participant today.
I'm the only participant today. That's
Yeah,
okay, the only participant.
yeah.
Okay, is
Mm.
Vezad all right?
Yes, he's okay, but he had a meeting
Mm-hmm.
at 2:30,
Mm-hmm.
and he apologized
Oh, by the way, you said
to
he
you.
apologized to you last session. I wanted to correct that. Thank you for saying it. Because, see, when you say I apologize to you, or he apologizes to you, or he apologized to you, it's when, for example, you're coding something. Okay, you saw him, for example, say, oh, I'm sorry. And then you're reporting this and you say, okay, he apologized to you. But it's not like that. It was like
Mm,
this. For example, Beza told you, Shirin, please say I'm sorry to Azadeh. Okay? So in
mm,
here, in this case, you have to say he sends his apologies.
mhm.
Okay?
He
Send
sends
his
his
apologies.
apology.
Okay?
Mhm.
So did you get what I said? What is the difference between saying he apologized to you and he sends his apologies? Say it in Farsi.
Mhm. He sends his apologies. Ap- uh, اینجا It's apologies یعنی معذرت خواهیشو ابلاغ کرد یه همچین چیزی.
خب he apologized to you چی میشه؟
Apologies to you. از شما معذرت خواهی کرد.
No, it's not the translation. It's the way we use
Mhm.
it. نگاه کنید وقتی میگیم he sends his apologies یعنی مثلا گفته که از طرف من عذرخواهی کنید. مثل he sends his
Mhm.
regards. سلام رسوند.
Mhm.
Okay? ولی اینکه بگید he apologized to you یعنی که مثلا شما اونجا وایساده بودید یه اتفاقی افتاده یه نفر به من گفته که I'm sorry یا excuse me و بعد شما دارید اینو ریپورتش میکنید به من میگید که ببین فلانی معذرت خواهی کرد ازت مثلا یه جایی دارید میگه اون که از تو معذرت خواهی کرد he apologized to you اما این اون نیست اینکه به یه نفر بگید که برو به فلانی بگو که ببخشید که فلان یا برو به فلانی بگو که سلام میرسونم مثلا سلام منو برسون اینها
Mhm.
با send گفته میشه he sends his apologies he sends his regards اوکی وقتی بگید he apologized دارید ریپورت میکنید مثلا یه جای شاهد قضیه بودید یه نفر به یکی گفت آقا معذرت میخوام و شما میگید که he said چیز ببخشید he apologized to you دارید ریپورتش میکنید گزارش میدید یه
Uh-huh.
قضیه رو okay so
Uh-huh.
in these cases
Mhm.
you have to say he sends his apologies he couldn't attend you can
Mhm.
say he couldn't attend, or he can't make it. He can't make it. It means that he cannot attend the class. He sends his apologies. Like he sends his regards. He sends his regards. سلام میرسونه. Okay? You can also say hello to him for me. I can say this. Say hello to him for me. سلام منو بهش برسونید.
Thank you.
Okay. یه جور دیگه هم باز همون رو میخواستید بگید، میتونستید بگید که he said یا he told me to apologize to you. اما he apologized to you نه. He told me to apologize to you. به هم گفت که مثلا عذرخواهی کنم این شکلی. Okay? Alright, so can you see the screen? One nation under heat and shade. Okay, again from National Geographic. Would you please read the first paragraph?
Yes. Science tells us
No, try. You can read it. It's not you. The pronunciation is not you.
On.
Very good. On.
Vocally.
Unequivocally.
Science tells us unequivocally that the world is getting hotter.
Yes. Okay, go on.
The past 6 years have been the warmest on record.
Yes. So science tells us unequivocally that the world is getting hotter. I know that you understand the world is getting hotter, but what does the word unequivocally mean?
Tells us unequivocally.
Yes.
It comes from equal.
No, it doesn't come from equal. No.
Equal. Vocal.
You could say there is the word equal in it, but it doesn't mean equal. It's actually a combination of equal plus something else.
Equal and vocal.
What does vocal mean?
Vocal.
You know, we even use it like that in Farsi. I'll give you a hint. It's a word that is used by musicians.
By musicians? Vocal.
Yes.
Like sound.
Very good. Vocal. Very good, yes. So can you tell me what unequivocally mean?
Sound.
It might be hard to guess the meaning based on the roots of the word, but pay attention to the sentence.
Tells us that the world is getting hotter. Predictably.
No. Just tell me the meaning, okay? You don't need to give me a synonym.
Science tells us that the world is getting this the meaning is changing the main idea. اگه تو معنیش اثر داره؟
No, it doesn't.
نه.
See, can you tell me the part of a speech of the word unequivocally? What is the part of a speech?
Adverb.
Yes. So usually, when you see an adverb in the sentence, it doesn't change the meaning of the whole sentence, usually. Okay? So when you come across such a word in the texts for the IELTS test, don't panic. It doesn't matter if you know the meaning. Okay? The main meaning is the world is getting hotter. So unequivocally must be something that gives us more information about the verb tell. So even if you don't know the meaning of this word, you know the meaning of the whole sentence. Okay, I'll tell you. Unequivocally means it's very clear. There is no doubt. Unequivocally.
There is no doubt.
There is no doubt. Yes. So science.
They are sure about it.
Yes, very good. Yes. There is no ambiguity. There is no doubt. It's pretty much clear. Everyone knows that. Yes. Now, Sharon, pay attention to the tense of the sentence. Science tells us unequivocally that the world is getting hotter. What is the tense of this sentence?
Tells us.
No, not tells. The world is getting hotter. This part.
Is getting hotter. That the world is getting hotter. It's getting hotter. It's present continuous and the application for the future.
No. It's not for future.
No, it's getting hotter.
Yes. You know that it is
permanent.
Permanent?
It's permanent.
No. We don't say permanent things with present continuous. We say it with present simple. Present continuous is for temporary things, not permanent.
Temporary.
No, it's not even temporary because, you know, the world is getting hotter and it's not a temporary issue. It is permanent. Yes. So which application of present continuous is this?
It's new one. Trend.
Very good. Yes, it's a trend. It's a new trend. A new trend that the world is getting hotter. Very good. Okay. So the next sentence. The past 6 years have been the warmest on record.
The past 6 years have been the warmest on record.
Yeah, what does on record mean?
On record, something that recorded, ثبت شده.
What is the meaning of the whole sentence? Not just
the past years have been the warmest on record.
What does it mean?
And during these the last 6 years ago, 6 years ago.
No, 6 years ago is different from the past 6 years.
6 سال گذشته.
No, 6 years ago doesn't mean 6 سال گذشته. Means 6 سال پیش. 6 years ago means 6 سال پیش. The past 6 years means در طول 6 سال گذشته. There's a difference in meaning. Okay, let me type this. 6 years ago.
6 سال پیش. در طول 6 سال پیش.
So what
The
happened?
past.
Yes, what happened in this sentence? Say it in your own words in English. The past 6 years have been the warmest on record.
Mhm. The past 6 years, there were some days that scientists could record the warmest days.
Days, you mean, yes, yes. You can say that it didn't used to be so warm before this time, right? In the past.
Yes.
Before 6 years ago, it didn't used to be so warm. Okay, would you please read the second paragraph?
The second paragraph. Each of us may note this differently.
Yes.
Each of us may note this differently.
Yes. So, what does note mean in here?
Take note and
can you give me a synonym for note in this sentence? A word that is synonym
each
for
of us may record, write,
no.
may record
No.
or
Doesn't mean that.
may understand.
Very good. Yes, understand this. Yes. Note in here means understand. So each of us may note this differently. Okay, go on.
Yeah. For me, it's the birds that no longer migrate south in the winter.
Yes. What does it mean?
For me, it's the birds no longer migrate south in the winter.
Yeah. What does the writer mean in here?
He in the winter, a lot of birds migrated to south in south, but the past 6 years it didn't happen, and the number of birds which migrated were less than before.
Okay, there's no talk of that in here. ببینید الان اگه بخواید اینجوری بهش نگاه کنید خیلی توی ریدینگ آیلتس به مشکل میخورید. خب ریدینگ آیلتس رو خیلی باید شما ابجکتیو بهش نگاه کنید. الان این اطلاعاتی که شما آوردید همین شکلی ریز میاد توی سوالات پرسیده میشه، خصوصا توی بخش true false not given و yes no not given بهشون به مشکل برمیخورد. مثلا درباره تعداد پرنده ها اصلا اینجا حرفی زده نشد. گفته شد
the birds پرنده هایی که
اصلا نگفته تعدادشون کم شده اینها، گفته که birds هایی که migrate south میکردن no longer migrate south میکنن. همین درسته. توجهی که مثلا ما میتونیم بکنیم، برداشت ما، اطلاعاتی که از این برابر شنیدیم اینه که خب بعضی از پرنده ها میرن، بعضی ها نمیرن یا تعدادشون کم شده، ولی این میشه سابجکتیو. بخواید بیاریدش توی مثلا understandingتون خیلی حواستون باشه همون چیزی که این تو نوشته شده، اصلا از خودتون چیزی اضافه نکنید. اوکی؟
no longer یعنی که
دیگه نیست. دیگه نیست. خب حالا ممکنه ساینتیفیکلی حرف درستی نباشه، ولی این چیزیه که نویسنده گفته. خیلی حواستون به این بخش باشه توی ریدینگ آیلتس. یعنی ممکنه اصلا نویسنده یه حرف غیر منطقی بزنه ولی حرف اون ملاکه برای یه سوالات. خب اصلا نباید حرف و ایده خودتون رو وارد ریدینگ کنید، وارد برداشت کنید. خب Okay, now tell me one more thing. Why does the writer talk about birds suddenly?
Why? For the birds that no longer migrate. Why? Because the time of the birds, because birds migrate when for example, the weather has changed from hot to cold or cold to hot.
Okay, no. Go back, make another sentence. That sentence was wrong. The birds, again.
The birds migrate when the weather changed. For example,
changes. The weather changes.
Changes. The weather changes. For example, when in winter the weather is cold.
Okay.
And in summer or spring the weather is in summer, and they migrate from cold weather to hot weather.
Yes, very good. Okay, but now why does the writer talk about birds suddenly? I know that, but why does he talk about birds?
Because their lifestyle depend on the weather.
Okay.
And when there is no changing in the weather, they don't migrate.
Okay.
Maybe.
نه این که میگید که درست هست. ببینید یه بخش دیگه در واقع آیلتس اینه که شما بتونید هر جمله رو به اون جمله قبلی ربطش بدید. پاراگراف دوم به پاراگراف قبلی ربطش بدید. یعنی ربطشون رو ببینید. خب یکی از سوالاتی که مثلا اگه این بخش ریدینگ آیلتس بود میتونستن از شما بپرسن این بود که این رایتر چرا درباره برد صحبت میکنه. خب و میدونید که ریدینگ آیلتس یه بخشش نوشتنیه، یعنی همش گزینه‌ای نیست شما انتخابش کنید. چون گفته قبلش چی؟ قبلش گفته که بعضی از ما may note this differently. هر کدوم به شکل این رو میفهمیم، به شکل هات شدن weather رو میفهمیم. For me, it's the birds that no longer blah blah. درک من از این که هات میشه اینه. خب برای اینکه اینو بتونید بگید خیلی ساده بود. درست الان من گفتم متوجه شدید. میدونستید اصلا این. ولی لازم هر یه جمله‌ای که میخونید ربطش رو به جمله بعد ببینید یا خوندید ربطش رو به جمله بعد ببینید. خیلی باید تمرکز کنید. خب ساده است، از سادگی شاید شما رو گیج کنه این شکلی بشه. Okay. Now the next sentence please.
I see them all year long now. I see them all year long now.
Yes. What does it mean?
The writer sees them. The writer sees them all the year.
Who?
Now.
Sees who?
Sees birds all
year long. Yes, very good. Yeah. Okay, go on.
And why in the world is the forsythia? And why in the world the forsythia blooming in January?
Yeah. What does it mean? You don't know the meaning of forsythia, do you?
No.
Okay.
But blooming? It's a kind of blooming in January. Word forsythia blooming. شکوفه زدن.
Yes, very good. So based on blooming, you understand that forsythia
It's the type of bloom.
no, is a type of plant. Is a type of plant,
Plant.
right? Yes, very good.
Plants.
It's
Yeah.
yasezad in Farsi, but it doesn't matter if you don't know. What matters is that you understand you're talking about a kind of plant, okay? Without knowing
Yeah.
that forsythia is yasezad, you can answer the questions in the reading text. I want you not to panic when you see a new word that you didn't hear before. Okay, don't panic. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, so, and why in the world? Why in the world means what?
Why in the world? Why, for example, the blooming
What is in the world?
happen
What is in the world? No.
the world in the world
Yes.
in the earth
On earth. Not
on
on earth.
earth
On earth. No.
on earth.
It's for emphasis.
Emphasis.
Okay. Let me type it. On earth. Okay. Instead of saying just why, you can say why on earth, or you can say why in the world, or why the hell. Okay, there are different types of saying it. You want to show your emphasis. Why in the world? Okay. Okay, would you please start the third paragraph?
Ultimately, to solve global warming, we must drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
Yes. See, when you see kali at the end of a word, kali, it's not pronounced kali in American English, just kli. Like physically, we don't say physically, we say physically or chemically. Now in here, how do you pronounce this?
Drastically.
Yes, very good. Drastically. Ultimately, we had ultimately before. What does it mean?
Ultimately,
Yeah.
finally.
Very good. Ultimately means finally. What is the adjective form of ultimately?
Adjective. Ultimate.
Yes, very good. Ultimate. What does ultimate mean?
Ultimate. Without end.
Without what?
End.
And as an adjective, what does it mean?
Endless.
No.
No. Ultimate. As an adjective.
Yes.
Ultimate.
It has several different meanings. I'll give you an example and then guess the meaning, okay? For example, what I received there was the ultimate prize for me. Let me type it.
Ultimate prize.
Prize. What I received there was the ultimate prize for me. What does ultimate mean in here?
What was the ultimate prize? You can say a value, ultimate, unvaluable.
Not exactly, no.
What I received there was the ultimate prize for me. Ultimate. Final?
In here, no. It means the best. In this sentence, it means the best. The best prize. Ultimate something. But ultimate also means final. Like my ultimate aim. Means my final end, not endless. No. the ultimate aim. So in here, ultimately means finally. And we also have a noun form.
Fine.
You know, ultimately, you know, ultimate, what is the noun form?
Noun.
Yes, the noun form.
Ultimate. Noun. Ultimateness.
No, no.
Ultimate.
It's something that we use
Mission?
no. It's something that we use in Farsi too. Mhm. If I tell you, you say, oh, I knew this. Because it's very easy.
Ultimation. No.
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum. Yes, matum. Ultimatum.
Ultimatum. Ultimatum.
Yes, ultimatum. We say in English, we pronounce it ultimatum. Means the final demand that you have. The final request that you have. This is my ultimatum. Okay, like this. So ultimately, yes, to solve global warming, we must drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions. What does drastically mean?
Drastically, must drastically, جدی, drastically, seriously.
You're close, but I can't say just seriously. Something better.
Finally,
it has something to do with the amount of something. Okay, I'll give you a hint. It says here that we must reduce greenhouse gas emissions. You understand this part, right? You know, greenhouse gas emissions. So, how much of gas emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, should we reduce?
A lot of
a lot of it. So drastically means a lot, very much. A lot of it. Okay? So drastically. See, based on other parts of the sentence, you can guess the meaning of, for example, drastically. Okay? Emissions. What does emission mean?
Gas emission. Some like evaporation. Gas.
Yeah, something like that. But when we have gas, it's discharged. Yes. Yes. What is the verb form of emission?
The verb emission. Emiss.
No, it's not emiss.
Emish.
No. 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 I'll give you a hint. This is one of those words in which some of the letters change when the part of speech changes. Remember, we had describe and description. The B would change into P, for example. In here, we don't have B or P, but something else changes. We have emission, and the verb form is, I know that you know this too. It's not new. You knew it before. Emit.
What?
Emit.
Emit?
Yes. E-M-I-T, emit.
Emit.
Okay, this is the verb form. Emission is the noun. Emit is the verb.
Okay.
All right, go on. Part.
Part. One of these months. Months. Cover, story, package, addresses that challenge.
Yes. Part 1 of this month's cover story package addresses that challenge. Cover story.
Yes.
What's cover story?
Cover story package. We have this one in the video from
Magazine reading.
reading.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, very
Cover
good.
story.
Remember
Yeah.
the meaning of cover story?
The cover story. Cover story.
What is
It's
this
the
that you
main
keep
story.
saying today? You say هم میتونم هم نمیتونم today. Okay.
I know, but I don't remember exactly.
I can't remember. You can say I can't remember. It's at the
can't
tip of my
remember.
tongue. You can say like that. It's at the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. Cover story.
Yes. There are two
It's,
meanings. Cover story has two different meanings. For magazines, it means the story whose photo was printed on the cover.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So, what is the cover story? This is the cover story. So part 1 of this month's cover story package addresses that challenge. What does address mean in here? And what is its part of speech?
Part of this month's cover story package addresses for
Yes, address.
shows.
And
Shows.
No, not show. It doesn't mean show.
Addresses. Points.
You're close. Yes, you could say points. Yes. پرداختن به چیزیه. Yes, mentions this. Not mention, it's more than that. When you address something, you pay attention to it, you talk about it, you write about it. Okay? So part of this month's cover story package addresses that challenge. What challenge? What is the challenge that they're talking about?
The challenge of the climate changing,
Yes.
global warming.
Global warming. Very good. Excellent. Okay, go on, please. Read the next sentence.
Yes. It looks at heat and how humans who evolved during the past 10,000 years in an average air temperature of 55 degrees Fahrenheit must adapt to a semi-new reality, but also work to mitigate it.
Yes, very good.
Mitigate
it. Okay, it was a long sentence.
Yes.
Okay, but don't worry. You can crack this one too. It looks at heat and how humans blah blah. Before we continue, tell me what does what does it refer to in this sentence? It looks at. What does it refer to?
It looks at it and how humans must adapt to semi-new reality, but also refers to reduce greenhouse.
No. یکی دیگه از سوالات خیلی رایج توی آیلتس همینه. یهو زیر یک ضمیر رو آندرلاین میکنن، میگن این ضمیر توی پاراگراف دوم تکست مثلا 3 به چی برمیگرده؟
It looks at. فکر کنم به cover story.
آفرین. پس این cover story داره به این قضیه نگاه میکنه. Very good. So it looks at heat and how humans who evolved during the past 10,000 years in an average air temperature of 55 degrees Fahrenheit. This was what? The sentence in an M dash, 2 M dashes. این کلش الان جمله معترضه است. بین دو تا M dash قرار گرفته، درسته؟ برای اینکه اینجور وقتا بهتر متوجه بشید این جمله طولانی رو چیکار میکنید؟
من حالا اونو توجهش نکردم این وسط رو.
خب از این بعد دقت کنید حالا به اینش. حالا گاهی اوقات کاما میبینید گاهی ام داش. ام داش رو در نظر نگیرید، یعنی کل چیزی که بین دو تا ام داش رو بذارید کنار، قبلش و بعدش، آفرین، قبل و بعدش میشه اصل جمله. اول رو متوجه بشید بعد برگردید به ام داش، وگرنه خیلی سخت میشه. الان بهتون یه تایمی میدم شما قبل و بعد ام داش رو برای خودتون تحلیل کنید بعد به من بگید.
قبل بعد
as it looks
and heat and how humans must adapt to steamy new reality, but also work to mitigate it. This cover story looks at or pay attention to
talks about you can say, or is about.
Talk about heat, means global warming, and how humans have to must have to reduce this gas emission, greenhouse
emission, not
gas
emission.
emissions. And also they must work to reduce it. Mitigate.
Yes. Mitigate means that means to make it less. To make it less, yes, or to reduce it, to make it better. You can say that. To make it less severe, you could say. It's very much severe. The heat is a lot. When you mitigate it, you make it less severe. Yes, very good. So that is the main sentence. The story, looks at, is about heat and how humans must adapt to a steamy new reality, but also work to mitigate it. You didn't talk about this part. Must adapt to a steamy new reality. What does this part mean?
Must adapt
to a steamy new reality.
Steamy new reality. Must adapt. Must.
You know must, but what does adapt mean?
They have to know how to live with and learn it. Learn how to live with it.
Yes, very good. Very good, excellent. Okay. Now the part into M dashes, who evolved during the past 10,000 years in an average air temperature of 55 degrees Fahrenheit. What is it talking about? Who is it talking about?
Who evolved? Who refers to human?
Yes, very good. Humans. Yes, human beings. Yes, very good.
Evolved. The past 10,000 years in average. Who evolved during the past 10 years? Average air temperature. The past 10,000 years, the average of air temperature average of air was 55 degree Fahrenheit.
Yes, very good, exactly. Very good, excellent. Now let's go to the next paragraph. Would you please read the first sentence? Just the first sentence.
Yes. Okay. Part 2 of the package explores a low-tech, immediate solution to heat, shade.
Yes, very good. Part 2 of the package. What is it talking about? Part 2 of what package?
Package of reducing.
No, focus. Focus. No.
Okay. Part 2 of the package explores a low-tech package. Cover story package?
Yes, very good, exactly. So part 2 explores this. Part 2 is about this. A low-tech, immediate solution. You know the meaning of solution. What does immediate mean?
Very soon.
Very soon, yes. And low-tech. What does low-tech mean?
Something is not high-tech. It's very technical, technology can.
Okay, you can say it's very simple. The technology is simple. Yes? Yes.
Shade.
Shade. That is the technology. Shade. It doesn't need a lot of, high-tech equipment. Shade. Okay. You understand this part? No problem?
No.
Okay. Would you please read the next sentence?
Yes. We're well aware of its public health benefits, as being in the shade can make us feel up to 20 degrees cooler than if we were in the sun.
Okay. We're well aware of its public health benefits. Its. What does its refer to?
We're aware of its public health. It refers to public health benefits.
No.
It's
Focus.
Solution?
No. Focus.
We are well aware of its public health benefits. It's as being aware of its مال shade میشه.
Yes, exactly. It refers to shade. We are aware of public health benefits of shade. Okay? As being in the shade can make us feel up to 20 degrees cooler. As. What does as mean in here? The word as.
Like.
No, doesn't mean like.
As being in the shade. Like. So being in the shade can make us feel up.
No.
Being. Please hint.
As has a lot of different meanings, okay? The hint is here. The hint is here. Just think about this sentence and suppose that you want to translate it to someone who doesn't know English. How would you translate this part?
Being in the shade. If
No,
Mm,
not if. No, doesn't mean if.
and you can make it.
فکر کنید الان میخواید اینو برای یکی ترجمهش کنید. دقیقاً به این تیکه از being in the shade که میرسید چی میگید؟ اون میشه ترجمهش، معنای از در اینجا.
As being in the shade.
از خالی. حالا شما میخواید از being in the shade بگید، مهم نیست.
قرار گرفتن.
فکر کنید به جای
being in
از
the shade.
یه راهنمایی دیگه اینه. فکر کنید به جای از میخواستید توی این جمله یک کلمه، فقط یک کلمه، عبارت نه، جمله هم نه، یک کلمه دیگه قرار بدید بدون اینکه جمله رو تکون بدید، هیچ کلمه رو جابجا کنید، از نظر گرامر واژگان اوکی باشه. اون کلمه چی می بود؟ یه راهنمایی دیگه هم میکنم، این دیگه نه آخرشه دیگه. یه کنجانکشن هست اون کلمه. نه. فور به چه معنا؟ فور هم معانی مختلفی داره. منظور شما فور به چه معناست؟
فور به معنی از.
خب نه دیگه زرنگ‌بازی نباشه. حالا یه کلمه دیگه.
فور نه. As being in the shade can make us
فور میتونست
feel.
درست باشه اگه میدونستید معنیش چیه. الان شما میدونید. اینکه گفتید فور اشتباه نگفتید. یه چیزی از قبل میدونید، الان درست یادتون نمیاد.
or
آره فور درسته. حالا یه کلمه دیگه هم میشه به جای فور هم یه کلمه دیگه هم میشه گذاشت. یه هینت دیگه هم میگم، با بی شروع میشه.
بی.
آره با حرف بی. دیگه همه رو گفتم دیگه.
بات.
نه دیگه بات که نه.
بی.
با بی شروع میشه. بله. اصلا به معنای ادامه جمله فکر کنید، خودش این ازه براتون معنا میشه. تیکه قبل از رو به تیکه بعد از چجوری ربط میدید؟
ارور دارم میدن.
چیکار میکنه؟ نه ببینید یه وقتایی اینم بهتون میگم یادتون باشه برای ریدینگ، چون برای ریدینگ دیگه باید خودتون برید یه به صورت راف ترجمهش کنید تکست رو برای خودتون. یه وقتایی برای فهمیدن یه چیزی باید ریز بشید توی دونه دونه کلمات. یه وقتایی هم باید از من فاصله بگیرید، اون بیگ پیکچر رو ببینید، کل حرف اون پاراگراف یا اون جمله ها رو ببینید. الان اینجا چی میگه بهتون؟ قبل از چی داریم ما؟ گفته we're well aware of its public health benefits. پس به خوبی از public health benefit چی شید با خبریم. حالا از being in the shade can make us feel up to فلان فلان. خب یعنی میخواد بگه که اگه ما توی شید باشیم، تو سایه باشیم، تا 20 درجه فارنهایت خنک‌تره تا توی آفتاب وایسیم. این جمله چه نسبتی با جمله قبل داره؟ We're well aware of its public health benefits. چجوری میتونیم اینا رو به هم ربط بدیم؟
مثل اینکه به هم وصله دیگه، معنی همه تکمیل میکنه.
آره خب با چی تکمیل میکنه؟ and نیست. نه نه دیگه and نیست.
بوست نه بوست که میشه بات که میشه ان
حرف دومش هم ایه. بگم
better
نه better که دیگه conjunction میخواد.
conjunction
یه subordinating conjunction میخواد. بگم دیگه. بگم because اوکی ببینید چه ساده بود. خب because اون for هم معنای becauseش رو اگه میگفتید همون میشد، میتونست for هم به جاش بشه چون for هم معنای because میده. اوکی داره میگه ما از این فوایدش آگاهیم. چرا؟ چون که این اتفاق میفته پس میدونیم این نتیجهش. خب جمله بعدیش هم بخونید.
دیگه کس میشه part
نه جمله بعدیش that principle
the principle applies to where we live as well.
Where we live, not live. Where we live as well. Go on. The next sentence.
A recent study found that neighborhoods with a dense tree canopy and parks and other open spaces averaged averaged about 5 degrees cooler than neighborhoods without those attributes in very same cities.
In the very same cities. Okay, one last question. What does very mean in here? In the very same cities. What does very mean?
The very same cities. Very different?
No.
In the very same city. In a lot of
No, doesn't mean that. It's a bit hard to guess this one. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So very doesn't mean a lot in here. It means exactly.
The very same.
It means exactly.
Exactly.
Okay? The very same person means that exact person. It's for emphasis. برای تاکید same، برای تاکید کلمه same اومده اینجا. اینجا مودیفایر به معنی very much نیستش. خب the very same cities. به جای اینکه بگید the same cities هم بود این جمله درست بود. very رو آورد که emphasize کنه به معنی exactlyه. Exactly the same cities.
Exactly the same.
The very same person. اینجا دیگه معنی a lot نمیده. آفرین. خب پس امروز اینو یاد گرفتید. نگاه کنید حتی در مورد همین veryه. اون بالا unequivocally که یه وقتایی به این کلمات میخورید توی متن، برمیخورید توی متن که یهو پنیک نکنید که وای الان من این کلمه رو نمیدونم چجوری جواب سوال ریدینگو بدم، اصلا ربطی نداره. یه وقتایی این کلمات قلم به سلم رو میبینید هیچ تأثیری تو معنای کلی جمله نداره، بدون اینکه معناشو بدونید اصلا میتونید به سوالات جواب بدید. یه وقتایی هم هست بر اساس کلماتی که قبل و بعدش اومده میشه حدس زد که حداقل کانوتیشن مثبتی داره یا منفی، یه چیزی رو داره مثلا افزایش میده، یه صفتی رو مودیفای میکنه، کاهش میده. خب اینو گفتم که حواستون باشه وقتی یک کلمه عجیب غریب جدید میبینید توی متن اصلا نترسید، سعی کنید قبل و بعدش رو نگاه کنید ببینید اصلا اون کلمه نقشش چیه. اگه قیده به احتمال خیلی زیاد اصلا ربطی به معنای جمله نداره. منظور من این که یعنی تأثیری رو معنای جمله نداره، بدون اینکه معناشو بدونید هم میتونید جواب بدید. خب